Hello and welcome to Blasberg Business News. For this edition, I'm joined by Jason Brewer, who is Chief Executive of Marula Mining. Marula, listed in London on the Aquis market, has assets across South Africa and Zambia. And Jason, welcome back. I mean, so much to go over because you're always busy, you're always doing something. You've recently announced a contract for the sale of Blasberg's high-grade lithium into China. And then through arrangements you've got with Q Global Commodities, you've completed the acquisition of two ore sorting plants, which are going to be commissioned at Blasberg towards the end of the year. Let's start there. Tell us about those two updates.
Sure. And Tim, it's a pleasure being back on here. You're right. Just last week, we announced the sale of a trial shipment through to China. It was just a 30-ton shipment of material, which is running between 6 and 6.5% Li2O. It's not the main game for us because we're busy looking at a much more longer term offtake arrangement with a big European-based global trading group. But the opportunity to get some material going there into China was one we really couldn't turn down. It creates a bit of competitive tension, which I like. I'm a very competitive person. So to keep people on their toes and also introduce that Chinese market, the biggest market for spodumene ore, for high-grade lithium ores, was something we felt strategically was very important to do. So we announced that material will be going off early this month, and we've received an initial payment, which was much appreciated, that's for sure. But no, that's just the start, I guess, of the offtake sales, which we will be looking to announce under the longer term arrangements very soon. In parallel with that, clearly we're looking at expanding our processing capacity at that Blasberg lithium and tantalum mine in the Northern Cape. So what we've done with the financial support of Q Global Commodities, our major shareholder and our partner in a number of project developments, we've secured two ore sorters, XRF ore sorters, one a Rados plant and one a Tombra plant, industry-leading pieces of kits, and ones which we have already started construction of, and we have already started refurbishment of. So both those pieces of equipment up on site over the current quarter. So over the next, 3 months. So we're very excited by that. And that really increases our processing capacity to produce roughly about 50 ton a day of saleable product. So going above what I've publicly put out there as our kind of conservative benchmark of 1,000 tons a day of saleable product. So we're excited about it. I say we couldn't have got that without the support of Q Global. So that relationship is really showing its value now. And I'm heading down to Johannesburg shortly, and I'll be able to catch up with them, Tomba, and the Rados people just to see how things are actually progressing there too.
Okay, well, let's stick with Blasberg. Great that you're producing and you're selling, but you're also drilling and continue to develop and explore. I understand the board has just approved, I think it's something like $1.3 million for drilling exploration at Blasberg. What do you hope to get out of that?
Yeah, look, that's people are investors and other investors need to recognize that, as well as obviously moving ahead with production and at Blasberg, it's that reprocessing of the historic stockpiles, where with those two XRF sorters, that's $2.2 million worth of investment, which follows on from about $2 million worth of investment on mobile mining equipment. And just the other week as well, we've announced this exploration and mining works program of $1.35 million, which is predominantly a resource definition drilling program, comprising 38 diamond holes, 2,900 meters. And we've got the driller on site. They're about 10 holes into that 38-hole program. So they're moving ahead very, very quickly, as you'd expect from us. The two rigs going, and we expect over the course of the next 3 months to be able to come out with an initial resource on the hard rock resources, which obviously underlie those stockpiles from historic mining there. So the focus for Blasberg is to move away from reprocessing the historic stockpiles, which is an 18 to 24-month program. But in parallel with that, obviously prove up the underlying hard rock resources and look at that conventional large-scale open pit development, which will bring in well before the 18 months. But we need to get that resource number out in the next 3 months upon which we also complete the mining study, geotechnical, a lot of ancillary study work going along with that. So a tremendous amount of work going on there at that Blasberg lithium and tantalum mine.
Let's move on then now to the Kusi copper mine, because you've had a lot of development there as well. Tell us about that.
Yeah, look, Marula was never set up as that single project company. Far from it. And I think we've kind of proven that over the recent months. It was always that broader battery metals focused in Southern, Central, and East Africa. And Kusi, as our shareholders know, is up there in the Dodoma region of Tanzania. Very high-grade copper resource. Given the shallow and existing workings from small-scale artisanal mining, we've been able to move forward very quickly. And we've actually completed the design, construction of a modular plant in South Africa. This modular plant, which is now ready to be transported to Tanzania, installed and commissioned over the next 2 months, will allow us to start processing that existing material which is there. It's a small-scale modular plant. That opportunity to basically ramp up production as we de-risk the project through ongoing, obviously, mining of these shallow, very high-grade material, but also by doing concurrent exploration. Similar model to what we've been doing at Blasberg. But what you've got there is a very simple plant, very simple modular plant, crushing circuit, a milling circuit, James tables. So we are going to be recovering 2 concentrates, a high-grade copper con and a low-grade copper con. High grade is 20-25% plus, and a low grade of 10 to 12. That low grade we may actually stockpile for future leaching and producing of a cathode or similar high grade concentrate. But the high grade con of 25% copper is one that is readily acceptable in the international markets, and where you're getting paid more than 60% of LME. So it's an attractive proposition for us. That crushing circuit has got a throughput rate of about 50 tonne an hour to start with, but then we've got the milling circuit, which is much lesser than that, because we really want to focus on the high grade material. But like I say, that plant to be installed up there on land which has been leased to us by the village communities, so we're working very much hand in hand with them, and where like I say, we are looking to get that moving very, very quickly as we go into the final quarter of this year. So Marula's strategy aim of having more than the 1 mine producing by the end of this year is very much on track. So you'll have lithium production out of South Africa, and hopefully, given what we're doing now, copper production there out of Tanzania.
Never a dull moment with you, Jason. Now let's move on to something else. You've also appointed Geofields, I believe, as geological consultants to the firm. They're going to be starting work on your, now I hope I get this right, the Nyori graphite project. I'm sure you'll correct me if I've got that one wrong. And they've also got some results already from the exploration program they've carried out at Bagamoyo. Give us a quick outline of what's been going on those 2 pieces of work.
Yeah, look, I mean, graphite is, I guess, that third leg of the stool that we've got to give us that truly diversified battery metals production. And we've got the 2 projects up there in Tanzania. Bagamoyo, which is more towards the coast, and Nyori, great pronunciation, Tim, not going to fault you there. Nyori, which is around Moshi, around Mount Kilimanjaro. So both those projects are on existing granted mining licenses. So again, it allows us to move forward with our partners. At Nyori, it's Takela Mining, who are also our partners at Kusi. And then at Bagamoyo, it's Kusini Gateway Industrial Parks, which is another Tanzanian company. So we can move forward very quickly. At Bagamoyo, we engaged Geofields, which is a very experienced, very competent Tanzanian geo consultancy group, and who have proven themselves to be excellent. Actually, I cannot fault the work they've done. They did their initial phase 1 work program at Bagamoyo and came up with 2 very significant graphite trends there, extending combined well over 1.5 kilometers, shallow at surface, and where the assay works came back at, I think on one of those trends, well into the high teens. So well above the mineable grades, that 6-8% mineable grades. We were talking grades here, high teens. 15, 16, 19% graphite carbon content. So it was very exciting to see that. And that's at Bagamoyo, which is on the coast, and which we are now moving into that phase 2 work program with our partners, and whom I will be meeting up with in Dar es Salaam later this week. They've now started work at Nyori Nyori. And again, it's repeating the same kind of program. It's a very large mapping over the existing 10 licenses, 10 granted mining licenses. And we're, by the way, Tim, we're actually looking at expanding that quite considerably over the coming month. And as part of that mapping work, doing an extensive sampling program. And that sampling program will really focus on what we've seen there already, which is exceptionally high grade, up to 100% graphite content mineralization, and where you're looking at jumbo flake mineralization, which is obviously the premium product when you talk about graphite. So that work is going to commence now in September. And again, I'll be meeting them on Thursday later this week to go through that works program and the timing and everything associated with it. But graphite, the graphite side of our business is looking very good, and I'm very excited by it. Just in August there, mid-August, we had representatives from Q Global Commodities on site. They're very excited about the opportunity at Nyori Nyori in particular, just given its very exceptional high-grade, shallow workings and the extent to which that mineralization extends over the mining licenses. So we need geofields up on site to do that independent verification, to do that work for us. And once we get it, I think that will really demonstrate to our investors, again, what another gem we've managed to uncover as part of our project portfolio.
We do like miners who uncover gems on this show, Jason. Let's just talk a little bit, though, about some corporate activity. You're currently on the Aquis market. You've recently announced that you're actually going to move to the Apex segment of the Aquis market. And you've previously announced your intention ultimately to move to AIM. Give us a quick update on where you are with all those things.
Sure. Look, we are already now trading on the Apex segment there on the Aquis stock market. We've been one of the most liquid, most traded stocks on the Aquis Stock Exchange. And I think that's a testament to the work everybody's doing within the organization and how we've managed to attract that investor interest. That move to, I guess, the top tier on the Aquis market requires a certain level of minimum market capitalization, free float, but also much higher levels of corporate governance, transparency, and so on, which we were very pleased to move there because it also allows greater online trading. So when you're on that Apex trading, our investors, our shareholders can actually buy through many of the apps that are available there in the UK to buy shares, instead of basically going through the old traditional way of dealing with the broker, phoning them up and placing an order. So we've certainly seen an increase in the trading of our stock since we've moved there now, which is well over a week. So I think that's been very successful for us, and that'll continue whilst we complete, which is our main goal, that listing on the AIM market in London. That process is underway. It's been underway for some time, and it's been personally quite a frustrating process, getting, essentially herding cats. And I've said that far too many times, and that's probably disappointing for me personally. We've got our technical consultants in South Africa completing the CPR. So their work is 99% complete. They are now just waiting for input from the legal side to incorporate into their report on license tenure and so on. The legal report is being done by a group called ENS out of South Africa. Very detailed, as you'd expect. And again, I'm catching up with them in the next 48 hours to wrap up that report. That's those two constituent reports that go into the AIM submission document. The final report is the independent report, working capital report, which is being done as well by Safris. That now is well advanced, given we put out our final accounts for the year end in 2022 just earlier in August. So look, I'm expecting that submission document to be completed this month and then put to the AIM administrators, and hopefully, if not then at the end of September, then early in October, we should be trading on the AIM market in London. And I think that'll be a great result for us. That triggers two more things though, Tim. That then triggers a dual listing on the JSE and also a dual listing on the Nairobi Stock Exchange. So trading in both South Africa and East Africa here in Kenya. And I think that should occur within 2 to 4 weeks after listing on the AIM market. That really makes us probably one of the most accessible junior mining companies in Africa from an investing point of view. So I'm quite excited about that. I know there's a lot of interest out of South Africa in what we're doing, and also here in East Africa, where I think our footprint is only going to get bigger post that AIM listing. So yes, a lot of stuff going on the corporate side with the listing, the dual listings, and a few other things to boot. But no, very exciting times and clearly a lot of work going on.
Jason, you're never a man to let the grass grow. Thank you for spending the time with us today. Come back and keep us informed as all this unfolds, and we wish you lots of luck with that. That was Jason Brewer, Chief Executive of Marula Mining, giving us a really thorough breakdown of what's going on within the company. That's it for this edition of Blasberg Business News. Thanks for watching.